Right, here we go. Bit of an update. Made a few changes since we went on the Spanish trip. I'm going to just go through those now so that you can see how we're sort of progressing. So, bit of a state at the moment, so I apologise for that. I'm not cleaning it up just for the video, but this at least will show you the mechanics of what we've done. So, we had a real big issue with running out of power. Really should have fitted a split charge system before we went away to Spain. Mind you, there's a whole host of other things that we should have done before we went away, but you know what, when you actually get out and start using it, you realise the stuff that you need to get sorted and the stuff that needs to get done, and it's nothing like a real world situation to prove what you actually need and what you can get away with. So what we actually did, if I can show you temporarily, was use this was a real lifesaver. So this is a little battery bank that has a solar panel fitted on the top. It's been like 14,000 milliamp hours of power, which was great. On the last couple of days, the battery in the back died completely, didn't have enough solar charge in it, so we relied on that to get the phones charged so that we could use the mapping software. So attack this first of all. First mod is to get the split charge system in. So uprated the battery that's in here. Still haven't got the VW battery tray in. I'm just trying to find one of those on eBay, see if we can get it for the right sort of money. So at the meantime, I've got this cobbled together. Battery clamps from Halfords, not ideal, and really have to be very careful because this is the live terminal. We've got some insulation around contact points because we don't want to get a situation of getting a live through straight to the earth. Obviously, we don't want to weld the battery to the car. So a bit of rubber in there to try and prevent that until I can get something. It's only temporary. It'll see us through till we can get the tray in place. But then what we've run in here is the largest possible cable I can find for 12 volts to be able to get a minimal loss of charge from the main battery through to the auxiliary. I don't know if you can see down the back there, see if we can get an angle. But down at the back here is a 250 amp fuse that's as close as possible to the battery. So in the event that we do get contact somewhere, that'll blow before doing any damage inside. And try to follow that through. So the lead actually runs, instantly go back again. So the lead runs down through the bolt at the back of the bulkhead. A couple of options for going through the bodywork were to either go through the wiper covers and then in through the bulkhead at this point. There's a grommet at the back there, but I opted to go down the bulkhead, follow the line of the aircon pipes that you can see here, run down underneath the body, and then it actually comes up through a grommet in and underneath the passenger seat. The passenger seat is on a swivel tray, so it's a few bolts to get that out of the way. So we're able to get the passenger seat out completely from the bolts, lift it out, run the cable up through the grommet, and then run it at the back of the floor, the rear floor system that we've got in, and then over to the temporary position for the rear battery. Now, say temporary position because look, you know, we've got the cable comes up into the Durite Split charge, again through another 250 fuse, and then running into the live for the battery. This is quite dodgy, you know. We've got uncovered battery. I've got some terminal covers to put in place, but ultimately this is not where it's going to reside. The battery will be moved once we're going to take this temporary seat out. Here's the extension cable, and we're going to put the battery sort of in this general area. So this is going to be where the cupboards are going to be, fridge unit, whatever. But we've got to do a few more changes, a couple of mods before getting to that point to build it in, once we know how much space we've got left. So I actually had a bit of a cheat for crimping. Had a look online. Crimpers were blooming expensive, I mean ridiculously so. So I modded a set of old bolt croppers. Now these croppers, I've maybe cut like 2 bolts in entire 10 or so years that I've had them. So I took the croppers and then ground out 2 crimp sizes so that I could just use these to give a really strong crimp, and that's what I've used on the front system. I then did decide to actually push the boat out, and I've invested in some adjustable croppers so that the future connections can be as tight as possible and much more controlled, and that's what I've done with the second set of crimps. I'll cover this with heat shrink before then installing it to the Durite. That will run through to the fuse and then into the auxiliary battery. It's a bit wet here today, chucking it down. So today's mod, before I start getting into that, is to fit this little beauty. So this came from JDS Metal Tech this morning. They have built the bed for us to be able to fit onto the rail system. So plan this morning, get that in place, lift up all of the mats that we've got, temporary mats in, get the bed in, and then get that fitted. So hopefully catch you in a while once that's done. Overflowing the gutter. This is proper film rain. Oh man. There goes my idea of having fixed the guttering. I didn't really figure on this much rain. But hey ho. Okay. Bus. These bolts are just a little bit too short to go through the holding plate into the sliding rails, so I'm opting for these. Now these are a little bit too long, so I'm going to have to take about 6 mil off the end of each. So what I'm trying to do is get a nut that will fit with one hand. Get a nut that will fit the bolts so I can grind them, and then I can rerun the thread using this bolt, so it should be easier to mount again afterwards. Okay, let's get grinding. Thank you, sacrificial bolt. Right, back on with the reindeer, because it's still blowing a hoolie. Oh, it's not actually blowing a hoolie, it's raining heavily. Raining jolly heavily. But that's Cornwall for you. Actually, we need it. Hasn't rained like this for donkeys. Right, back to the fitting. bed's finally fitted. Next onto the good bit, and that's to actually put the covers in. And I haven't really done this before, but we'll soon find out. So this one, I'm assuming, will be the front base cover. I've gone for the VW material. That's just soft though. Damn sight better sleeping on this than the blow up airbed that we did with the tour of Spain. I don't know what's really going on with this Velcro. I guess I just need to find a way of sticking that down. I'll have to have a look into adhesives then. Damn it! Didn't really think about that one. Hey ho. I've got to say it's well packed. The way it's been done, ideal for today. Thank goodness for tailgates and garage rooms. So, with that, like that, I'm guessing I can just pull this down and then loop it over the top, just temporarily. Try not to touch anything on the floor. Oh yeah, baby, yeah, baby, yeah. I'll just hang over there then. Sweet! Right, so I'm just going to put the seat belts over the cushion. But why don't you come with me for that, and then you can see what's going on. Sorry for all the wibbly wobbliness. That'll do. Okay. Houston, we have a problem. It looks like our surfboard is going to have to move location. Damn, man. Hey, that's where it goes, I guess. The difficulty, because this is actually raised up slightly because it's on the runners and not bolted onto the base floor itself, it's going to have a bit of height issue. It seems to be wow, quite high, man, but hey, that'll do. Right, let's get the Velcro again, get the belt through. Woo, sweet! Yeah, man. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it, man. Okay, I'm going to have to do something with the solar panel. Maybe, now I've got all the space to... God, this is really high. And that could be a bit of an issue. I'm 5'9", and I'm pretty close to this ceiling. But I tell you what, leg-wise, this is absolutely flippity perfect. Might not be good for the little ones as much because they... Rue, she's 6, she's going to have a bit of dangly legs, but do you know what? It's pretty comfy. Nice viewing position. Cool. Just have to go and test it out. Righto, I think that's about it for now, so I'll just give you a bit of a whiz round and then I closed it off. So what I've done with this, it took a bit of time to get sorted, is underneath here we've got the sliding rails. So JDS measured up and made the bed fit with the sliding rails. So we've got, as you can see, a bit of movement. Obviously with the seat belts in place it's not going to slide very far, but it slides on the floor in between the rails pretty tightly. The floor rail system will allow the bed to move forward and backward. Took a bit of jiggling, had to get some spacers, just use some washers in between the rail floor bed and the bed itself. In between there's like 3 washers in between, so giving it about 3mm lift to then fitting the bolts that I've cut down, clamp it in position. So that's pretty darn solid. You can lock it all up now and then we can get travelling with the bed. Nice! Okay, around the back. One thing that I made a bit of a boo-boo with, I'll be honest with you. When I ordered this, whoop, the Velcro back on, hanging off. Okay, what I would have preferred, and I didn't mention, so entirely my fault, is to have a little bit of a dicky seat at the back. I should have mentioned that, but hey, live and learn. But that is a very good bed. Very pleased with that. I do think that's got to go the other way around, looking at that. That'll help the height as well. But there again, the headrest, maybe not. I don't know. And it fits so nicely here as well, so don't know, maybe give Dan a call, let JDS Meltech and find out, but that I'm very pleased with. Can't wait to give it a go. Catch you later.